We ended March with the Good Batch and the Bad Batch Homebrew ciders both in progress, and we had just moved the Philly Sour into Cold Crash. Meanwhile, in video production, the Bavarian Wheat was in editing, the little side project regarding the regulator was ready to go, and the shorts were running for the California Common. The 2nd of April was bottling day for the Philly Sour. We put 8 litres into the Oxybar keg and the remaining into bottles. 2 days later I recorded the retrospective for the Bavarian Wheat. Delicious! So that moved into editing. Meanwhile, the regulator side project went live but didn't get that many views. 7th of April and the California Common shorts finished. That leaves nothing running at the moment. I'd better pull my finger out. Back over at the ciders, my V2 was clearing nicely and looking fantastic, but the V1 was still my bad batch. 8th of April and everything changed. I fitted the Nuka Tap Mini onto the sour and gave it a taste test. I wasn't very sure at first, but the taste really came into its own over the following few days. Meanwhile, both ciders had a bit of a shift. The Good Batch moved to the mini keg ready for carbonation, and, well, the Bad Batch I just moved to secondary and crossed my fingers. Next I added gelatin to the Bad Batch in my never-ending attempt to try and improve things. Unfortunately this failed too. However, back at the Good Batch I moved that to Cold Crash, which now with spring increasing temperatures meant I had to dig out the Ferminator to actually cool things down a bit. I bottled the Bad Batch on the 18th and my taste test was not that great. However, this was by complete contrast. The Good Batch was absolutely fantastic. Woohoo! The Bavarian Wheat retrospective was released on the 11th of April and the outtakes on the 18th, leaving the shorts to run through to the end of the month. Given the saga of the Iron Brew Turbo Cider, you could imagine that I'd forgotten all about the Philly Sour, but in actual fact I'd been supping away quite happily at that keg of orange and strawberry sour. It was absolutely delicious, and the bottles conditioned as well to give those a try. Now this was interesting, the keg and the bottles were quite different, and I'm going to do a shootout later on. I'd added some bottle and keg carbonation and conditioning yeast, and it ended up being a little over carbonated in the bottles. Gotta be careful with that. Sit rep then for the end of April. Well, we have the Bavarian Wheat in the bag, all the shorts are finished and I can archive the files off to save myself a bit of storage space. I still have this backlog of editing to get through. Both the Turbo Ciders and the Philly Sour need to be completed. But on the bright side, we have Homebrew number 50 racing towards us, which is going to be a Punk IPA. In the meantime, do look out for the next video. It is going to be the Good Batch, the fantastic Iron Brew Turbo Cider. Please do like and subscribe and feel free to comment. I would like to hear from you. In the meantime, happy homebrewing everyone. Cheers!